Rondale Moore out of Purdue had himself a nice pro day. He ran a 4.29 40-yard dash and had a 42.5 vertical and has been absolutely electric when he's on the field. The problem is he hasn't been on the field all that much. After a 2018 season where he had over 1,200 yards, 12 touchdowns, and was named the first true freshman consensus All-American in Big Ten history, he's played just 7 games in the last 2 years. He's been plagued by hamstring and lower body injuries that held him out of all but 3 contests in 2020. Rondale Moore is small, but he plays with toughness and isn't afraid of contact. He might not be winning jump balls, but he attacks the ball in the air and can fight through contact at the catch point. He's not going to be a guy you split out wide very often, so being able to win inside and make the tough catches is important for him to be able to have success in the NFL. As one might expect though, at 5'7" and 181 pounds, he can get bumped around when he's in his routes. He just doesn't have the stature to be able to endure a physical corner and still get into his route cleanly. He has to win on speed and with his hands at the line of scrimmage, and his hand usage is something that's still lacking in his game. When he's into his route and getting clean releases, he can ball though. He understands how to work and attack the leverage of defenders. Against Wisconsin here, Moore keys that the slot defender over him has outside leverage. That means that they want to prevent him from getting outside. What that means for Moore is that any outside move will threaten their leverage and force the defender to react. Moore pushes an outside stem and uses efficient footwork to burst back inside on a slant. Attacking the leverage of the defender and creating space for himself is one of his best qualities and allows him to put his physical tools into practice. Again, Wisconsin is giving him an outside shade. Moore has a seam and needs to create space between himself and the safety while also winning on his route to give his quarterback a bigger window. He again slides outside to widen his man and then releases vertically to win on his route. The ability to start and stop with his low center of gravity and explosive lateral quickness is elite. He does a good job of reducing wasted movements when getting into his routes. Whether it's in the short game or working downfield, Moore always works to widen defenders, create space for himself while using that footwork and explosion to get up on a defender's toes and get them turned around. Here against TCU, Moore works up onto the safety for a post. When he starts to close that distance, he implements a rocker step, which rocks off the instep of his inside foot to create a violent hip shift away from his route side space. He then plants on his outside foot and bursts to the post while turning the safety around. Once Moore has the ball in his hands, he becomes incredibly dynamic. He's able to generate power and has good contact balance, which makes him a great guy to get the ball to on screens and in the open field. Where he does struggle at times though is stringing moves together. Without creating moves off of his basic releases and route stems, he can become predictable and defenders can start to key off of his breaks to jump routes. On his dig routes in particular, he does a foot fire break to get his feet underneath him and then bursts into the middle of the field. That gives him a hard break and it's good if he's working against a trailing defender, but in zone, it allows defenders to read and jump his route. After running his dig a few times against TCU, the defense now knows his foot chop at the top of his route is indicating he's going to break in. As soon as he starts that foot fire, TCU jumps his route to protect the inside and take away the throwing window. Rondale Moore has a lot of exciting tools that are going to be enticing for NFL teams. He's not a traditional receiver though and skews a little bit more towards being a gadget guy. The health is a concern, but in an offense that implements a lot of motion and works slots on crossers, deep posts, and quick screens, he could be absolutely lethal. He's a great option for the jet sweep, and every time he touches the ball, he has the potential to go the distance.